So welcome to your part 5 of this core integration. These are the 40-minute segments, so there will be a part 6 for this season of the core. And today we'll be putting together quite a lot of what we've done previously and also using the wall to stabilize the pelvic floor muscles as well, which is always quite fun and interesting. And also has some level of intensity as well. So let's begin just sitting on heels today. And we'll begin with diaphragm activation. So taking your hands across the bottom of the ribs and around the diaphragm with your fingers just touching at the center, which is often where our abdominal separations begin. Relax the shoulders back, keep your gaze steady and forward, and just begin to breathe into your palms and notice how the breath feels for you. On the in-breath, does it feel as though you're actually pulling back, or does it feel as though the belly is receiving the breath and you're able to draw the breath fully into the lungs? So sometimes we become so used to reverse breathing where you breathe in, you're actually pulling back and in instead of expanding the belly and receiving the breath. It's quite normal, particularly when we go through stressful times. So we're going to subtly turn on the diaphragm. So begin by breathing in through the nose. And then on your exhale, allow the breath to come through the lips in a very soft, long exhale. As though you're holding a straw, a plastic straw in your lips. Inhaling through the nose. Soften the belly and see if you can let the ribs expand into the palms. If not yet, it doesn't matter. And the exhales through the mouth. Relax your hands on your lap for a few moments. We just placed our hands there to see whether we were reverse breathing or breathing correctly. We're going to do 3 more exhales out of the mouth. In your own time, inhaling through the nose. Exhaling out of lips. Close your eyes and become very subtly aware of the diaphragm now. And as you breathe out, at the end of the exhale, just as you turn the breath to the inhale, you might now begin to notice the diaphragm turning on, and there's a little bit of bounce back. And now notice how your belly is filling with the breath as well. We'll do 1 more long exhale out of the mouth. Bring your palms back to the diaphragm and breathe in and out of the nose. And you might notice a difference now. How the diaphragm has become receptive to the breath. And you may even notice that your fingers move slightly apart as you inhale, as the belly is now receiving the breath. And we've turned on our true diaphragmatic breath, which is quite important when we're working with the core, because the diaphragm is part of the core activation. It's part of what stabilizes our core muscles. Beautiful. Placing your hands back on your thighs. We're now going to do 1 more breathing exercise, and that is breath of fire. So we're now using the diaphragm to pump the breath very strongly out of the nostrils. The in and out breath will be through the nostrils. The in breath you don't have to worry about, it will come naturally into the body. And we'll do 30 rounds, 2 rounds of 30. At the end of the round, we'll reach our arms up, take a full breath in, hold the breath for as long as possible, and then bring your hands to your knees as you breathe out of the mouth And then we'll snap the belly up and in so that the belly hollows up underneath the ribs. And this just not only tones the internal organs and the abdominal wall structure, but it also gives us better control over our abdominal muscles. So take a natural breath in and out. Breathe in, lungs 3/4 full. And then begin out of the nose, snapping the belly back. Inhale, reach your arms up. Hold the breath in, chin down and back. Lion's breath out, palms to the knees. And in the exhale, snap the belly in and back, chin to chest. You can see how my fist disappeared up and underneath my ribs. It's quite a difficult breath to get, but we'll try it one more time. Taking a natural breath in and out. This also helps with any prolapse in the lower organs. And breathe in 3/4 full, and then we'll begin for 30 rounds. Inhale, reach your arms up. Hold the breath. Lion's breath out of the mouth. Diana. And relax a moment. Beautiful. Just take a couple of natural breaths. We'll be going straight into our plank series today, Dom. So coming onto all fours, bring your forearms to the ground. And then bring the shoulders directly over the elbows, tuck the toes under and lift the knees up. Find a very, very strong plank. Squeeze into the inner thighs. Push up slightly between the shoulder blades so that it mounts ever so slightly. And then we're going to do 10 rounds of breath of fire. Hold. Flip over to your right side. And then take your hand to your hip. Press strongly onto the right forearm. And now here we're going to lift the left leg up and then down, up, touch the ground in front of you, and then come back to center and down, up, touch the ground behind you, come back to center and down. Release the hip. So when you do this, I know that the shoulder really feels it, but I want you to try and stabilize through the core with that same feeling of lifting the pubic bone towards the belly button. Let's come back into the side plank on the same side, that right side, press up. If you need to support yourself, you can keep your fingertips on the ground. You'll still be working hard into the side plank. However, if you're confident, hips to hand to the hip, and lift, release. Lift, tap forward, lift, release. You can always place the hand on the ground, lift, tap back, lift, release, come down. So it's quite intense, but what that does, yeah, it's quite intense. But by using the leg, we're integrating into the pelvic floor. Let's do it on the other side now. First of all, plank. But this time in between, we're going to come into the forearm plank. Draw up through the belly. Breath of fire 10 times. Hold, And left leg out to the side, come together. Right leg out, come together. And keep going a few times, tapping the ground as far over as you can, either side. Keep going. Try not to lift your back too high up. Try and keep the body relatively lengthened. And then come onto the knees. Take a moment. Coming back onto the plank, roll on over to the left side this time. If you need your right fingertips on the ground, that's fine. Otherwise, hand to the hip, lift, release. Lift, front, take it back, release. Lift, back, lift, release, bring your hip down. Take a break. And let's take that again. Side plank. Fingers to the ground if you're feeling that you need some stability. And lift, come down. If your knee is sore, bring the knee to the ground. This is for those of you doing it at home. And then you can lift, take it forward, back, down. Lift, take it back, lift, down. So I'm just giving an example of what you can do if you're feeling strain in the knees. You can be on the knee. Beautiful. And then coming back to the other side, we're now going to come into a half plank. So move the knees back, cross the ankles, shift the weight over the shoulders, and remember that to zip up. So that is not a zip up, and this is not a zip up. What you're wanting to do is kind of tuck the pelvis up and back and feel the belly. Hold. Simply hold here. Now, place your left hand to your heart and bring it back down to the ground. Squeeze the belly up, bring the ribs together, place the right hand to the ground, to the heart, and bring it down. And do that several times. Each time, just stabilizing through the body, and just keep going. So it may seem very simple, but by shifting side to side slightly, but still kind of trying to keep our body on the inclined plane, what we're doing is you'll very soon start to feel that integration into the core. Keep going until you feel that you can go no further. Very simple, but very effective, particularly for a separation. Beautiful. And then gently come back and into child's pose. Just relaxing into the base of the spine. Beautiful. Come back onto all fours. Spread your palms. If your wrists are sore, you can always use a fist if the wrists are sore. You can also flip your mat up and place the base of the hands on the mat, the heel of the hands, and the fingertips on the ground. And this will alleviate pain in the wrists as well. So I'm going to demonstrate with this variation. Tuck your toes under, lift your knees off the ground. Your knees are level with your heels and just hovering off the ground. That's it. Hold. Look between your thumbs. Push firmly onto your right foot. Extend your left leg back. Keep your right knee vertical. And then just pulse your left leg a few times up and down. It's super intense. Try not to lift your back too high. Keep that right leg bent. And then come onto all fours and relax a moment. Take a steady breath. So we're really upping the intensity from the previous weeks and just trying to, because we've now learned how to stabilize the core. So now we're using that ability to stabilize and challenging it in various different ways. Tuck toes, pick the knees up, press the hips back so that they're over the knees. Press firmly onto the right left foot and right leg back. Stabilize and pulse. 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 Looks really good, Dom. Looks really good. and gently come on down. Nicely done. Come to sitting on the heels for a moment, just letting everything soften. Beautiful. We'll be using the strap now, and then we'll go to the wall. So, taking the strap, we're going to work at releasing the shoulders first. Just redo this. So, sometimes when the shoulders are so tight, we disengage continuously in the core, and this can become habitual when you're busy with a baby a lot, holding a baby, feeding a baby, ouch, feeding a baby, and everything else. So then all the tightness goes to the shoulders, and then we just disengage in the core because we're like, shoulders. So we're going to open the shoulders first, and then we're going to engage the core with the strength of the shoulders. So if you've got a scarf, you can, you've got a belt, but if you've got a scarf, just tie the scarf so that when you place your palms into your strap, it is just wider than shoulder distance apart. By placing the outer edges of the palms into the strap like this, it's just wider than the shoulders. Amazing. Okay, so sitting on the heels, reach the palms forward and push the knife edge of the palms into the strap. Inhale, press, and feel your arms tighten. Then exhale, reach the strap up and take it back. Keep the arms long. I mean, you may only go to there. I've got a bit of mobility in the shoulders, but wherever you go, just keep pushing the outer edges of the hands strongly so that you're really lengthening up. Inhale, come on down. Exhale, here. Inhale, push your hands strongly into the strap. Exhale, reach up, take it back, stretch. Inhale, bring it down and forward. Exhale, starting position. Inhale fully. Draw the belly back and in. Slowly lift up. Now, keep the belly active. So when I say draw the belly back and in, sometimes we'll be flopping the belly forward. Pull the pubic bone towards belly button. Keep drawing in through the ribs. Keep the belly active. Press back through the palms. And now slowly lift the hips. And then bring them down. Keep the arms long. Lift onto the hips. And come on down. Now, lift, hold, lean back, reach back, lean back, chin to chest, lean back, hold, hold. This incline plane is so good for abdominal separations. Keep the chin down though, and come back to center. Step your left foot forward, round and curl, push into the strap. Slowly take it over to the one side. We've done this before. And then lean back just a little bit and come to neutral. Squeeze the knee and heel towards each other. Pull up through the pubic bone, tighten the right glute. Round. Take it around to the left side. Slightly lean back and come to center. One more time. I know it's hard on the shoulders. Squeeze the belly back and in. Tighten the right quad. Roll forward. Push into the palms as you take it around, back a little bit, and come onto all fours, sit down on the heels, relax the shoulders. So, again, reach the palms forward. Now, this time, squeeze the belly back and in. It's as though you're pulling your tailbone under slightly. Squeeze the belly back and in, round a little bit. Then reach up. Feel that belly activation as you do this. Lift the hips, keep the belly activation. So instead of butt back, pubic bone lifts. Press the hips forward slightly. Lean back, chin to chest. Push into the palms super strong. Come to neutral. Step your right foot forward. Magnetize heel and knee towards each other. round, keep pressing the palms strongly into the strap, roll over to the right, take it back into a very small back bend, neutral. Press the fingers into the strap, roll, or the palms, roll forward, round, squeeze the belly back, slowly take it to the right side, very small back bend, back movement, neutral, one more time, round, roll it, take it back, and neutral. Beautiful. Release the strap, come onto all fours, and just feel. So it's intense on the shoulders, you might want to roll it out. Good. Right, let's take the wall series now. So you'll need to move your mat to the wall if it isn't already there. If it's there, then that's perfect. Looks like you've set up. Right. I'll just move there. And then I'm going to move my computer. Amazing. Okay. So Dom, you're going to need your blanket. And you're going to roll your blanket into a roll so that when you place it between the thighs, your feet are a fist or slightly distance apart. A fist or wider, not more narrow, a fist or wider. That looks good. Then from here, place your hands on the wall and your butt, walk your feet forward, and then bring your hips level with your knees. Press your hands to the wall, press the lower back, the upper back, shoulders to the wall. And now, pubic bone, you can even bring your hand to the pubic bone, squeeze the blanket, and pull the pubic bone and the belly button towards each other. The back of the tailbone will lift off the wall. And then round the lower back, you'll be able to place a hand between the lower back as you press the pubic bone down by the thighs. Then from here, squeeze the blanket like crazy. You can even place your hands just above the pubic bone and you'll feel the deep muscles just above the pubic bone and deep into the pelvic floors turn on. And then inhale, release, exhale. Squeeze the belly back, squeeze the blanket, roll and release. Squeeze the blanket, exhale, belly, pubic bone and belly button towards each other, roll and release. Squeeze the blanket, squeeze, roll and release. One more time, squeeze, draw it up, hands to the wall, keep squeezing, flatten the lower back into the wall, hold, hold, hold. Straighten your legs and relax a moment. Quite intense, you feel it into the quads, but it's actually the pelvic bowl that I'm wanting you to feel turn on, which is why if you place your fingers where some people feel the bottom of the abdominal separation, just above the pubic bone below the navel, you'll begin to really feel the activation of the belly. I'm going to do that again. Taking the blanket, rolling it between the thighs, slide the hips down. Okay, and then fingers horizontally across, placed below the belly button and above the pubic bone. And inhale here, exhale, squeeze the blanket first, feel the activation, and then roll the pelvis up so that the pubic bone and the belly button come closer together. You're still squeezing the blanket like crazy. And then relax it slightly, the lower back will lordosis, it'll round, and then squeeze the blanket first. That turns everything on. And then bring the pubic bone and the belly button towards each other. And then lordosis slightly. Just two more, I know it's intense. And then squeeze the blanket first. Can you see how when you squeeze the blanket, you turn on the muscles? And often we forget about the psoas muscles. When you're done, Dom, you can straighten your legs and just drop the blanket. So as we've known, we've worked out over these last 4 weeks is The iliopsoas muscles migrate here, they start here, they migrate all the way down, and they spiral inwards. They connect to how the pelvic muscles tone, and then they roll inside into the inner thighs. So the muscles that end here in the inner thighs begin here. So you can see how it connects the whole pelvic area. And if we're not using the inner thighs and contracting, then we may as well not be toning the pelvic floors, because the contraction happens through the integration, the hydration, and the activation of the psoas muscles, and then we can bring all of this pelvic bowl into play. So when we're not doing the squeeze, we're actually flopping out and just letting everything drop, which is, you know, not much good either. We're going to do wall slides now with squeezes. Hands to the wall. Walk the feet forward, bring your butt down. Then keep your hands on the wall, shoulders back, squeeze, slide, and then keep your hips, your back slightly away from the wall, slide down, squeeze, and again, you've got that little bit of horizontal patterning from the hips to the shoulders. Slide up, squeeze, and bring the hips down. Pubic bone, you can even bring your hands to the muscles here, and feel what it's doing, just above the pubic bone. And slide, squeeze, come down. Keep it so you're not, your hips are lifting into the front body. Slide, squeeze, squeeze the blanket, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Hold here, squeeze. You're on an incline plane, squeeze, squeeze, and then straighten up. And I know that it uses these muscles like crazy, but it's all good. It's all good. Now, this is quite super hard, but you can do it. Okay. We're going to come on to, we've built the strength, we've worked with some girdle strength in the strap sequence as well. So now, Dom, what we're going to do is we're going to use the wall as ballast, and we're going to come onto our forearms. Okay, let's go. You've got to take your breath in. We're on our forearms, and then you're going to walk your feet back and press the balls of the feet into the mat with the heels on the wall. And you can always, it's like a dolphin against the wall to begin with. So you can always touch your shoulders, cross your wrists and touch your shoulders to see the spacing between the elbows, then interlace your palms. And then we'll take the dolphin first by straightening the legs, heels are on the wall. And now we've found the strength in the shoulders, but you're going to bring the belly up and in, look up, and then touch your forehead to your thumbs, and then push back. They're little tiny dolphin planks, and they activate not only the serratus muscles, but they really get into some of the deeper core muscles without feeling as though you're overdoing it, except that you're working into the shoulders quite strongly. But what you're doing is the abdominis rectus are turning on here. And final time. And then come onto your knees. Walk your forearms forward a good space, because now you want to straighten the legs and come into a forearm plank with the feet, the heels against the wall. Now, Dom, I'm going to ask you to step your feet up the wall and onto the wall and hold. You can go a little bit higher if you wish, and you're on the inclined plane. And this is incredible for the final finger of abdominal separation. Good. Pull the belly, the pubic bone and the belly button towards each other. If you feel like your belly is flopping too much, it might be too much, but you're looking good, you're looking good. Stay with it, just another 2 breaths. So just by putting the body on a slightly inverted inclined plane, the abdominals are turning on beautifully. Come down and onto all fours. So Dom, how did that feel for you? Felt okay?
Yeah, the wall was
slippery. You can unmute yourself.
It's fine. Yeah. No, it was good. The wall was slippery, but otherwise good.
So a slippery wall isn't necessarily a bad thing, actually, because it makes you work a little bit harder. So what we're going to do now is work a little bit harder again by doing the taps. So you don't have to take your legs as high up the wall this time, but you're going to come onto the forearms, lift the knees, step up a tiny bit onto the wall, and then you'll just be tapping the one leg. And do that several times. Tap, 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 tap. And when you've had enough, bring your knees down to the ground. And then we'll do the other side just now. In between, you're looking so good. That's amazing. Again, by taking the leg into different angles in connection with the hips and the body, we're constantly toning the psoas muscles and toning the pelvic floor muscles as well. So it's pretty cool. Let's take it to the other side and do the other leg onto the forearms, into the forearm plank. You can step the feet up the wall a little bit, the mat's slipping slightly, and then we're going to do the other. Tap, 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 tap. Beautiful. Coming out when you're ready. Nicely done. So, the other thing to do is to create a stable vertical line with the spine, but you're going to need to try and keep the blanket between your thighs as you do this. So you can either place the blanket between the thighs. I prefer to do it to start with, so you don't have to lift one arm. And you're going to come into your dolphin shape again. So if the wall is too slippery, just come straight back down if you feel that it's endangering your body. Come onto the forearms. In the dolphin shape, it's like a downward facing dog on the forearms. Tuck, lift, hold, and then step your feet up the wall. And now, instead of bending the lower back, squeeze the belly in. And then from here, push firmly into the forearms. Squeeze the blanket, relax it slightly. Exhale out of the mouth, squeeze, relax. Exhale, squeeze, relax. Squeeze, relax. One more, squeeze, relax. Remember not to let the lower back bend. Keep pulling the pubic bone and the belly button towards each other. Good, and come on down. And how did that feel? It looked stable, So what I love about starting to play with inversions post-pregnancy is that we gain a certain sense of exhilaration in where we can take our body to. And also by inverting and moving into a different trajectory and plane of being, we're creating new challenges for ourselves. And sometimes we're afraid to challenge ourselves post-birth. We're like, you don't want to do this, don't want to do that, what if that? But in actual fact, we've got 2 stable foundations that we're working on, and it can feel really amazing. Now, I'm going to invite you to do one more with the wall. If it doesn't feel right, come out. Those of you that are practicing this at home, you can just go back to your dolphin against the wall with your feet, your hips, and your shoulders in a perpendicular shape. Or, and I'll show you quickly, so the reason I wanted you to place the blanket between the thighs first is because I don't want you suddenly spilling into the pelvis and dropping into the lower back. So when you come to this and you are here, I don't want to see that. I would like to see you with a loose neck, strong shoulders, belly pulled up and in, and then just reaching one leg high, squeezing the belly back. And when I say, when you were squeezing the blanket between your thighs, you were turning on the iliopsoas. So they should be turned on now. And because some people tend to sort of flop out, and I really don't want to see that. And you can just do this and see how it feels. And if it doesn't feel good, just go to the perpendicular shape and hold there. That looks amazing. Push the floor away from you, squeeze the belly up and in, bring the ribs together. Nice. The inner thighs are turned on. Beautiful. And it's amazing because we're just taking ourselves out of our norm and we're challenging ourselves in a new way, and also bringing a sense of exhilaration into the body about what we really are truly capable of. And that maybe we've forgotten that we're actually goddesses. Because post-birth, when it's just the mess of baby, it's hard to remember that. We just become breastfeeding or feeding goddesses and cuddling goddesses, and we forget that we've also still got a strong body. Amazing. Oh, looks so good, Dom, looks so good. And then when you're ready, you can always come up and just roll the shoulders out. And that feels really, really good. Nice. And then we're just going to do a couple of core activation against the wall with, it's almost like a shoulder stand against the wall, but we're going to be using the resistance of the wall to resist into all the muscles along the side body. So place one butt cheek on the wall and then swing your legs up the wall and come to lying down on your back. Place your feet just above the level of the knee when you bend your knees. Just above. With bent knees. Good. Then from here, press your hands to the ground, push your feet into the wall, and feel that movement of slightly lifting the tail and pulling the pubic bone and the belly button towards each other. You can feel that deep core activation underneath all of the baby fat from where baby was growing in your womb. Just press at the base of the uterus and you'll feel that. Then push into the feet and slowly keep squeezing the pubic bone and the belly button together. Slowly, slowly, slowly lift up. Slowly lift up until your hips are high, and then push like crazy into the feet. Push, squeeze into the inner thighs, and slowly, slowly bring the spine back down, still keeping the activation through the core. And then slowly lift the head, still bringing the belly down, and place your fingertips, touch your fingertips to the wall, bring the head up, and come down. That's one round, relax the pelvis. Let's focus on the breath now. Push your feet into the wall, inhale, pubic bone and belly button comes together, hips lift slightly. Exhale, push like crazy, feet into the wall, squeeze into the inner thighs slightly, and lift the hips by pushing. Feel the activation of all the muscles as you do this. Exhaling to the top, inhale, push into the feet like crazy, and it's almost like you're dragging your spine down by pushing into the feet through the inhale. Exhale, lift the head, look up to the ceiling, touch your fingertips to the wall, squeeze the belly in, push into the feet. Notice what happens when you push into the feet, and then slowly come down and relax. So when we use the wall as resistance with our body, we're activating the muscle and the fascia as well, instead of just being floppy. And inhale, push into the feet, squeeze the belly and the pubic bone together, hips lift slightly. Exhale, push harder into the feet, slowly roll the spine up, slowly feel like you're squeezing that blanket between the thighs. You're pressing now strongly into the shoulder blades as you lift the hips as high as you can. And then push into the feet like crazy and slowly traction the spine down through the inhale. Don't flop the hips onto the ground. Keep that slight curve. Pubic bone is lifted and pulled down. And then exhale. Fingertips touch the wall. Lift the shoulders. Inhale, relax. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, activation. Push into the feet. Lift the hips slightly. Squeeze the belly down. Exhale, push into the feet like crazy. Begin to lift the hips. Feel like you're squeezing something between your thighs. Lift, lift, lift. You're activating all of the muscles. Nice. And then inhale, push into the feet like crazy and start to traction the spine down, keeping the belly strong. On the inhale, as the hips come down, the butt cheeks might not touch the ground. Push into the wall before the butt cheeks touch the ground, and then lift, try and touch the wall, and slowly come down. Nice. Open your legs wide and just take them out to the side for a good stretch. Just releasing those pelvic floor muscles, the inner psoas that have had to work hard into the inner thighs. Hands over the belly, a little bit of a belly massage. Really appreciating this area of the body that had to stretch and change and accommodate babies. It's quite incredible. And how sometimes we get bogged down in, oh, but the belly's not going. It will, it absolutely will. Just give it time, 9 months in, 9 months out, before everything settles completely. And then after that, it's just about getting used to new shapes in your body through all of that change. So good. And hand to belly, hand to heart. Relaxed face, softening into the breath. And really just giving yourself a message of love, tenderness even. Letting yourself know that you're doing the best that you can and you're doing so well. And just turning your mind to these beautiful children that are in our lives that bring light and joy. So beautiful. Place your hands behind your thighs and just bring your legs straight up the wall now. Just relax there for a moment. Feeling the energy drain through the legs, the pelvis is relaxed, the eyes are soft. Just noticing how the body feels, all the cells dancing after putting the body through its paces. If you're enjoying having the legs up the wall, just stay there for another few minutes, particularly if your baby's giving you some space. Thank you so much, Dom. I'm so glad you could make it so that we could record this class for everybody else. Thank you for coming on. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.